Can someone just explain to me what just happened? That is correct. Of course, referring to the Apple event. What a disaster. In this video, I'm not going to talk about what happened or give you a summary of all the breakdown. Go watch someone else. I'm going to tell you about the stuff that didn't happen, that should have happened. Let me set the scene. WWDC comes and goes without no mention of any Mac hardware, and we come to this event this week, the Apple event, the Hello Again, and we hear about something which we already knew was coming because Apple, a day before, decided to leak it themselves anyway. Thank you. Very kind of you. Leak it by all means, but give us something that we don't know. Give us that hype thing, you know. The MacBook Pro that was announced with the Touch ID or the OLED bar, there's no doubt it's fantastic technology. But what about the other stuff which hasn't been updated for the Mac Pro for over 1,000 days, the Mac Mini for 2 years, the iMac? Where are those updates? Give us whatever you want to give us, the OLED bar, the finger touch, whatever. Watch bands. No, don't actually, just forget about that. Forget I said that. No more ideas, Apple. You know, it's been so long for creative professionals that it's coming to the point where Apple is just losing it. In comparison, when you look at what Microsoft is doing, is fantastic. A day before the Apple event, Microsoft held an event. Apple decided it would be great to leak out their own MacBook Pro stuff on that day to take away the Microsoft limelight, which backfired because the interwebs is angry, and rightly so. We got a MacBook Pro with a great OLED bar, there's no denying that, but what the hell, no HDMI, no SD card, battery life hasn't even improved, no MagSafe. You know, these are just some of the things. So their obsession with making everything thin has cost them. Their obsession with being first in everything has cost them. Because if you take a look at Mac Pro customers, given it's a niche, given I'm not going to buy it, but people are going to, there is a market for it there, for professionals, for video editors. If you're not going to keep them in the loop, they're going to go elsewhere. I like, and I keep coming back onto Microsoft, but as a good example. Microsoft, a day before the Apple event, announced an updated Surface Book. In the Surface Book, they made it slightly thicker to give us better battery life. Well done. That is the approach Apple should be taking. Instead of making everything so thin, compromising, no SD card in the MacBook Pro. The MacBook Pro is a device that's used by creatives, photographers and videographers, right? You're in the field, you're shooting video, you don't want a gazillion and one different dongles attached to your laptop to get footage off it, which is relatively straightforward on even $100 laptop. It just makes no sense. And then for Apple execs like Craig Federighi to come out on the event and say, developers are going to love this, when referring to the OLED touch bar. No shit, Sherlock. Had you released it at WWDC at a developer event, you could have given us something meaningful on this event 2 days ago. Now, there's going to be some of you saying, well, Apple don't do this, they don't announce stuff or half-baked stuff and ship it later. Wrong, they do. Take the Mac Pro trash can as an example. That was announced a few months before it shipped. The iMac as well was announced a few weeks. You know, it's $1 billion company. You're telling me they don't have the R&D, that it wasn't ready for WWDC somehow? Surely they could have put some pictures or the idea, the concept, the watch band, which is apparently not the watch band, the Apple Watch, which is supposedly integrated in this OLED touch bar. They could have maybe introduced the APIs. So when Sierra came out and when this was ready for launch, there'd be apps there for it. The full shebang would be there, as opposed to having your generic Final Cut shortcuts on this touch bar, your Mail, Safari, and so on. It would be nice to have the full shebang right there on launch, rather than, you know, keeping it till the very end. And this is pretty much a disaster in terms of not being able to update their line. Let's move on to pricing, shall we? Because that's another interesting topic. So the pricing for pretty much everything has gone up, whether it's the Mac Pro, which wasn't updated, it's gone up anyway. It's gone up by a juicy £500, Mac Mini, Magic Keyboard, everything. And that's really no fault to Apple. It's due to Brexit. Here in the UK people voted for the United Kingdom to come out or go out of the European Union, and that shot up prices for pretty much anything. So whether it's Apple, Dell, Lenovo, key, if you want a key from a key cutting service, the raw prices of materials has gone up. And while it's no fault to Apple, but the pricing really doesn't make any sense. It's laughable. I don't know how they're going to manage to shift stuff. Yeah, Apple have been really good in the past. So any new update that's come out is kind of, £50 approximately. That's been the difference. But to shoot it up, the MacBook Pro, for example, the new ones are up by almost £200. So there is a huge issue there. Will Apple shift them? And you guys are going to be writing in the comments, well, the MacBook Pro times have already slid. It's now showing up 4 to 5 weeks. Yeah, but Apple always does that. They always make a small batch, or they make it look on their website as if these are selling like hotcakes, when we really don't know how much they've sold. They've not released any figures for Mac Pros, how many they've sold. They don't tend to release those figures in their earning calls. I guess what I'm saying is, I hope Apple learn from this disaster. I hope come 2017 they come to their senses and listen to their high spending customers. What people want. People don't want stupid watch bands, colourful watch bands, which is the direction Apple is heading in. If you want to go for that market, by all means go for it, but don't forget the people who built your very company to where it is today. Rant over. Are you guys getting the MacBook Pro? I'm not. I am recording right now from my 13-inch MacBook Pro Retina, which I got earlier in the year. So it's doing me fine. I don't see any need for update. Come Rev 2, I might pick one up depending on how well they're doing. Or actually, I might even move over to Surface Pro 4, which is amazing, by the way, if you haven't tried it out. Really good. Not had much experience with a Surface Book, but Surface is an interesting... it's an interesting what Microsoft are doing. It's kind of complete opposites. Microsoft is targeting the creatives. They're taking over, in essence, what Apple's core was, and Microsoft are now making watch bands. That's the sad truth. So if come next year when I need a replacement, if Surface Pro 5 or 6 are out and they're good enough, I'll pick that up. I'll give my money to someone who is going to give me everything I want and listen to its customers. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Still to try out the Surface Studio. I talk a lot about Microsoft. Funny, eh? But once the Surface Studio comes out, hopefully I'll give that a go. It's not really to my use, but for example, the Surface Dial could be useful. It seems to be a hit amongst the people who have used it. So interesting times ahead, interesting 2017. Let's see if Tim Cook can come back to his senses. Your comments, your views, your abuse, anything, you know how to reach me.